Hi. Our world today is filled with a lot of offenses. There are offenses, offensive people, and a lot of offended people. Everywhere you look, everywhere you turn, our homes are filled with offended people. Our churches are filled with offended people. Our nation is filled with offended. In fact, our world, it's filled with offended people everywhere you look. The question is, what are the reasons and why are offenses thriving? My name is Pastor Chinelo Dillimono, and this is Be Encouraged. So today I'm really going to be talking to those who are offended, because we have a lot of people who are offended around us. And when you're offended about something unknown to you, you carry your offense on your shoulder and you begin to offend others unknowingly. Hurting people always hurt other people, because we're people of depth. Every one of us, we have not just our physical bodies, but we also have the spiritual part of us. So the spiritual part of you begins to affect the other people around you. So I'm going to be giving us 5 reasons why offenses are thriving, and maybe that would help you and I to live on the brighter side. Okay, number 1 is the unwillingness to resolve differences. We can't run away from the fact that people will always have varied opinions on matters. Husbands will have a different opinion than the wife. Children might even have different opinions from their parents. In the office, in the business world, in our churches, wherever we are, we'll find that we will always have differences. In our nation, amongst the same tribe, people of the same tribe, or even intertribally, people will have differences. But you see, there's a difference between being, having a disagreement and being disagreeable. Now, it is wrong to be disagreeable. There are a lot of people, the reason why offenses are thriving is because they are disagreeable. We can actually agree to disagree. Something could be green to you and it is white to me. Don't disrespect the fact that I see it as white. You're not my eyes and I'm not yours. So I can agree that, okay, if you say it's green, then for you it is green, but for me it is white, and let life move on. But when there's an unwillingness to either resolve or respect the other person's opinion, then we have offenses. Then the next reason is that people, there's an unwillingness to repent of offenses. Yes, nobody is perfect. Everybody is imperfect. Just the way I'm looking out at someone else's wrongdoings, I also equally have wrongdoings. But because we have that spirit of rightness, I think that I'm right all the time. I can't be right all the time. I'm not omnipotent, neither am I omniscient. So I will offend people. But when I offend people, I've got to be humble enough to apologize for it, to repent of it. So when there's an unwillingness to repent, offenses thrive. And then also the unwillingness to forgive. Some people just know how to keep catalogs of offenses of ages and eons of years ago. But once there's an unwillingness to forgive, an offense will thrive. Because especially if the person who has offended has, sought ways of resolving, but because of your pride or the other person's pride, forgiveness is refused. Offenses will also thrive in that life. Then another area would be, I would say, is unwillingness to empathize. And empathize with another person's pain, another person's discomfort, refusing to understand from the other person's point of view. When people are unwilling to empathize, empathy is simply putting yourself in the other person's shoes and understanding why that person feels the way they feel. Men have got to learn to empathize with women, because women think differently and men think differently. In the same vein, women have got to learn to empathize with men, because we all think differently. From science, we hear that men think from one side of the brain and women think from the other side of the brain. We don't think alike. We don't respond to things alike. But we can empathize because that person is a human being that ought to be loved and taken care of. So that's as simple as it goes. When there's an unwillingness to empathize, offenses thrive. And then finally today, I'd like to tell you that offenses thrive because there is an unwillingness to be corrected. I know we live in a world that is full of bumper information. A lot of us, you know, are suffering from what I call information overload. We all seem to know the answers to everything, but really nobody has a monopoly of knowledge. So if someone has been offended by what another person does, when you're unwilling to be corrected, when you're unwilling to be told that what you did is wrong, offenses will always thrive. But to live on the brighter side of life, the humble people would learn and always allow for correction. Even the presidents, even the highest of the highs in this life make mistakes. And you know, there's a statement my husband is always making. You know, when my child or my children really were pretty little, when my children were pretty little, it was always difficult to get them to sleep. And then sometimes we'll put on something that they will watch, and before you know it, they've gone to bed or they've gone to sleep. And we both will just sit and laugh. And my husband would say, you know, even Hitler went to bed. Even Napoleon will go to bed. So the truth is that no matter who we are, we all make mistakes. And in order to quench the fires of offenses around our world, we've got to be willing to resolve differences, to repent of offenses, to forgive one another, to empathize with others, and also to be corrected. Well, I hope this encourages you today. My name is Chinelo Dillimono, and like I always say, I would love to connect with you. You can connect with me on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram. You can send me an email. Subscribe to this channel so that every time that we release a new encouraging video, you would get notified. Click on the bell as well, and you can always get the videos here.